a mistake. Drink my troubles away. One more glass of champagne, and you know I'm the first to say that I'm not perfect, and you're the first to say you want the best thing. Now I know the perfect way to let you go. Give my last hand. Oh, hope it's worth it.
Okay, I think I find this question is interesting. How during the pandemic will affect our education and policy? The one thing that is obviously that I would say will affect our policy is now the teaching method has been flexible, which is it could be flexible because during the pandemic, which us or globally, people has discovered that we could do an online teaching method. So, to clarify how it will affect our future policy, education specifically, I would say that our education could moving toward hybrid teaching, which somehow we, unfortunately, I'm not praying for this, but let's say there will be a pandemic outbreak. So I would say that our education will not be a problem anymore because we have some alternative to keep on continuing our education, which is we could do an online. And also if the teacher is sick or cannot attend any class, they also could have an alternative to make an online teaching method.
I think for the policy, maybe tarikh SPM didik macam
They have shift.
shift, and it's getting late for
It's being delayed.
it's been delayed for year to year. And macam kita orang dulu during SPM 2019, bulan 12 tu kita orang dah habis, so we have a lot of time to plan our education to university. But for the next batch, they had to plan it
A bit late
and
and a bit rush.
I think that in terms of the COVID-19 actually changed a lot the concept of education, whereby before this we are more focusing on face-to-face. By the coming of COVID-19, we are much focusing on online. So with the coming of online education, we can see where are we lacking. For example, in Sarawak and Sabah, there's no much the internet connection is very low. So with the when the online classes start, that we can see where is the flow of it. Thing that we can improve, and also it can also teach the not only the student but also the teacher, lecturer, on how to use the social media as a method or to teach the student.
I think I see the difference between the exams online and exams by face-to-face. So for examinations online, we all need to have such a high integrity to not cheat what it behind our screen. So since our lecturer didn't know what is going on behind the screen, so we ourselves need to control ourselves to not reference anything during the exams, especially in the exams and quizzes. For face-to-face, I think it's obvious there is no way to cheat during the exams, right?
Yeah, so I think like that's how the experience of studying it's different. So maybe in like universities now we can opt for online tests, but like back then we have to do physical tests regardless, right?
Yes, I have. For example, my teachers my teachers always give new questions weekly, such as right. Like the first week, he give us the topic first, and then the next week, second topic, and so on. So I think yes, they have give us so many adequate initiatives to learn during the pandemic.
The third question is that yes, the teacher are not still give up on the students. They will try to have an online class because they have a high hope for the students to make sure that they can sit their SBI examination. So yeah, that's my third question because the teacher will never give up on them. Oh.
I think there is already impact in the policies, particularly from MQA perspective, so Malaysian Qualification Accreditation Agency. So there's already that loosening up of the policy of physical interaction with the students, where the online application or the asynchronous or hybrid application is already part of the policy. So before that, it was not there, and we needed to apply if we wanted to do something that is online based. So now there is that kind of liberation or freedom. So there is already that impact. But long term, I'm not quite sure. When we were under lockdowns, we were very much every single perspective is very much influenced by this lockdown and COVID. Of course, there is a lot of talks about the future, right? But now things relatively or virtually have returned back to pre-COVID. So I'm not sure if there is any long-lasting impact beyond the ability or the freedom to choose Zoom or Google Meet and things like that. Yeah.
Right. When we talk about the changes, for example, like readings, it is very unfair to say that there are no longer generation of readings, because when we talk about readings, nowadays has changes. Previously, if you want to read the book, you will refer to textbooks, physical books. But nowadays, since after COVID-19, there are many new platforms that was introduced that made the availability to the online resources are much more easier to be accessed. So in regards to the first one, whether or not they're able to whether or not there will be in terms of their readings, behaviors, or attitudes, changes definitely yes in the way how they access it, but in terms of the practicality of it, never mind. It did change much. However, later on, and then if we have to discuss on their outspokens, or how would they react in physical classes whatsoever, I believe that those who experience these new changes, they are much more outspoken as compared to the previous one. First thing first, because of the exposure of media, technological advancement and whatsoever. Nowadays, as you can see, even a child, even the standard one, knows how to use a gadget properly. Previously, maybe they know, but not much as those who were, or those as after COVID-19. Now, when we talk about in terms of the exposure of media play an extremely important role. How they not brainwash, how they shift or how they shape or how they move the opinions or the worldview or perspective of the new generation of the SPM after 2020. I believe that those generation of SPM after 2020, they are much more outspoken as compared to the previous one. Previous one, I'm not quite sure which generation you are, but in the previous time, in the previous generation, we were somehow just obey what the teachers. Partly, yes, we tend to follow what the teacher says. But nowadays, of course, it is not not a planned generalization here. But in one way or another, the generation after 2020, they are much more outspoken as compared to those after or before 2020. of the challenge, okay, when we talk about the online and also hybrid learning, okay, when we say about hybrid, it means it's not. Okay, that's how we have been told lah. I mean, when you do hybrid, it's not that you do physical in one day and online in one day. That's not the real hybrid. The real hybrid is that they make kind of a mixture between at the same session or the same week.
Face to face.
Face to face, not online, still online. That means it must involve as well not only the physical lecture, but kind of interactive activities, videos, for example. Online is part of it, but not online only. Okay, that means for example, you are given some kind of video to see and to answer, or some kind of short quiz, for example, or to give your review, for example. That's what we call like the hybrid learning. Okay. So in one part, it's good actually to further have a kind of interactive learning, okay, learning process. And of course, you give much better for the younger generation. Okay, like I mentioned before, you are much more keen for this visual thing compared to this reading thing, for example. Okay. But the issue will be on how to really attract you to engage with the thing. Okay, or you just, for example, you just open the video and then you just do something else and then you just answer it without really seeing or understanding the video, for example. That's also one of the things. The other issue is that the challenge is how we're going to find the good material for the course of a topic. That's also another issue. Okay. But I hold a kind of, I have a kind of optimistic view on this. Okay. Again, maybe in the future, if the university and of course us, the kuliah, really have the will for that, we can do kind of proper preparation for that. And maybe in the near future, 10 years or 5 years, we can really have a kind of comprehensive and well-defined, well-structured hybrid learning. Okay. Well, that's why the COVID-19, among the lecturers also have voiced out this issue. Somehow after the COVID, the policy somehow suddenly we abandon everything. Okay, we are too much on this online, the hybrid during the COVID, but suddenly when the COVID ended, we scrap it and then we go back to the traditional way. Okay, of course, not wrong as well, because I believe for the what we call the pedagogists, for the education, they believe that physical engagement is much more better, okay, than this online thing. Okay, but we should not as well totally abandon it. Okay. Of course, there are kind of effort, but the effort is not as much as serious as before. Yeah. But again, we see what will be the hope in the future. But I believe, okay, hybrid learning is much more interactive and will be much more interesting, okay, for the younger generation.
Breaker, you up 3 days, I'll send you a bouquet. Say you need some mistake, drink my troubles away. One more glass of champagne and